Blu-ray stacking up, yeah, the collection grows. Singing like nobody's watching, let the good times flow. Movies on repeat, yeah, he living that life. Great guy, big heart, yeah, he doing it right. Screen light glowing while the speakers bang. Sammy G vibing to the scenes and the frames. Love for the art, yeah, the passion stay true. From the first press play to the end credits roll.
Hello all, welcome back to another video and welcome to Sammy G's World of Cinema. Today on the channel, I'm going to talk about all the movies I have watched for the back half of May 2026, and yeah, there's been some re-watches here, some first-time watches, and yeah, some cinema trips as well. These are some of my favourite videos to make as well. It's just a great way to kind of look back on all the movies I have been watching as each month goes by. So yeah, grab yourself a cuppa, guys, or a beverage of your choice, and let's find out what movies I watched for the back half of May 2026 there. I watched a film called Rendition with Jake Gyllenhaal, Peter Sarsgaard, Reese Witherspoon. And I'm gonna be honest, guys, this was just okay for me personally. Didn't find this was all exciting to watch. It was like there was a lot of talkative scenes, which I am all for in the film, but yeah, there were times where I was just a little bit zoned out when watching this. I must admit, I thought Jake Gyllenhaal was very good in the leading role. Peter Sarsgaard and Reese Witherspoon, where she's trying to find out what's happened to her husband when her husband, I think, travelled from Africa to Washington, D.C. And I think he's taken, like, sort of by the CIA for questioning it because they think this person has some involvement in this terrorist attack that happened prior to this. So he's kind of been mistaken for someone else. And Reese Witherspoon wants to kind of tell the CIA office and like Washington, D.C., like headquarters, you guys have got it all wrong. And like kind of to prove evidence of like her husband, and they've got the wrong guy in for questioning here. And Jake Gyllenhaal made a pact with J.K. Simmons to keep this guy sort of like under their guard for questioning, and any evidence to prove he's wasn't involved, he will be released from like this prison center. It was a decent film, but I think there wasn't much to write home about other than it was decent acting, but it was a bit average for me, this one, I'm afraid. But I quite liked it, but probably not in a mad rush to watch this one again. It was okay at best for me. Rendition, I'm going to give a 6 out of 10 there. But for something I did much prefer to that, I actually got to thank Warren at Goose's Movies for recommending me this film like a fair while back now, because I know Warren is a big fan of this director, who I think also directed the film Love Jones, and I'm pretty sure he directed a film called Dope, which I have got on DVD, which I'm yet to check out, admittedly. Checked out a film called The Wood. Yeah, very solid watch, this one. I really enjoyed it. Good set of characters, 3 best friends that are looking back on their youth in the 80s, you know, in the lead up to their friends' like wedding, and yeah, they're just reminiscing and reflecting on their youth, the 1980s when they all met, you know, at this high school, at this college. Great. The soundtrack was excellent, actually. I loved the scene with the prom night as well, and the guy who's like a newcomer to this like high school college. I thought the way he kind of narrated this film was really good and on point, and a couple of quite comedic scenes actually where he's trying to impress this girl, fails miserably when he has to stand up in front of the classroom, but yeah, he's very attracted to this this girl at the time who's the same age as him. So yeah, it had some comedic elements, and I think one scene where this guy is not, he gets so angry on the way home and he bursts into anger and his facial expression is hilarious. But really enjoyed this film, and yet Warren, good recommendation, because I definitely would watch this one again at some point in the future. And yep, definitely will be keeping in my collection. The Wood, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10 there. Went to sunny Bristol on bank holiday weekend, the last the penultimate weekend back in May, and yeah, me and Ollie went to go to the View in Bristol. First of the films that we saw was The Sheep Detectives. Now, I think Ollie has seen this one before, and this was the first time I watched it, and yeah, I quite liked this one, to be fair. I thought it was just so self-aware, it knew what it was, and yeah, just a really gentle, lovely little film, this one, where, yeah, you've got this flock of sheep, and they kind of really resonate with their, like, sheep herder, Hugh Jackman, I think, who plays the character George in this. Yeah, like this sheep herder, and you find he comes out of the film, and you kind of see more of like his daughter in this film. You've got obviously that inspector, the police inspector, and yeah, you've got a couple of like bundle of other characters in this one as well. Yeah, did really like this one. The voice over these sheep were great, really worked well together, and yeah, there was some emotional beats to this one as well, but yeah, Hugh Jackman was great as ever, you know, like really good to see Emma Thompson in this one as well. I really enjoyed the setting with that village as well, and the sheep were just, yeah, fun-loving characters to watch on screen. Yeah, and the whole like whodunit thing was a very cool take on this. So yeah, The Sheep Detectives was good fun, this one. 7.5 out of 10 there. Then guys, holy shit, this had to go down as one of the surprises of the year. Now, I must admit, I didn't hear anything about this film until Ollie messaged me on WhatsApp one day. Sam, are you aware there's a new British rom-com coming out called Finding Emily? I was like, oh, okay, I'm not really familiar with this one. So yeah, until Ollie mentioned it, I didn't hear anything about this film at all, but wow. I tell you what, this was so surprising. I mean, this was just so good. It was so cool, this film. Already now one of my favourite new releases of the year. I just really had a great time with this film, guys. The main pairing, the main guy and Emily in this film that basically team up together to try and find the main guy. I've forgotten his name, guys, I do apologise, but he like basically the lady that he met like the other night, and he's missed the last digit of like her number, like when they had like met at like a party and that in Manchester. And yeah, it was just such a cool story, this one, and great to see Blossoms make an appearance in this. So I am a big fan of Blossoms. I've seen them live, they were great when I saw them. Really cool soundtrack, and Ollie was right with this. He did say as soon as New Order's Blue Monday kicks in, you know you're in for a good time with a film here, and he was definitely right there. And I'm pretty sure, I swear, started with Blue Monday in the opening scene as well. So that was a sheer coincidence. But yeah, I had such a great time with this one, guys. If you love feel-good British films with great soundtrack, just a really light-hearted story with a slice of romance in there, you're gonna be in for a good time with this one for sure. So Finding Emily, I'm gonna give an 8 out of 10 there. Definitely one of the best films of the year for me anyway. And yeah, an early 2000s like rom-com flick, this one. I watched the film Get Over It, and yeah, I thought this one was okay, to be honest. I didn't think it was all that to write home about, to be honest. I think the film that came out, I think the year after that, what was it called again? A Walk to Remember, starring Shane West, I thought was a much better film than this. And I think the one he was in with James Franco the year prior, was it Whatever It Takes? I thought it was a much better film. But this still was okay. It wasn't bad. It was just middle of the road, average sort of, yeah, like 80-minute comedy flick. But I've got to be honest, there wasn't much laughs to be had with this film. I found it a bit standard, a little bit generic, on the generic side of it. But yeah, it was so weird as well. Like, there was just some really strange, weird aspects with the whole fantasy elements that just felt a bit cringe, to be honest. And they're doing like this stage play of a Midnight Summer's Dream, I think it is, or a Midsummer's Night Dream, but it just wasn't a very interesting plot. There was a lot of really dire acting in there, I've got to be honest. A lot of it. Sometimes, as long as I'm entertained, I can forgive that, but there were times in this film I was a little bit bored. I didn't really care for a lot of what was going on. So it was all right. I will keep it in my collection. But yeah, like, again, I'm just struggling to remember what else happened. Kirsten Dunst and her best friend, I think Milos Kunis, makes an appearance in this. Shane West, Colin Hanks. Wasn't a very interesting story to this one. So get over it. I already have gotten over it. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10, that one. But I did add a rewatch of Fever Pitch. And yeah, I just thought, do you know what? I was in the mood for rewatching like a British film, and a couple of British films I went back and rewatched, to be fair. And yeah, Fever Pitch, even though I don't support Arsenal myself, I still think this is a very good, enjoyable. I don't want to, I mean, I don't really class this much as a comedy, to be honest. It's more like a romantic football drama. But yeah, great to see Colin Firth and Mark Strong in this, who you know, I've got a great friendship in this as lifelong Arsenal fans who are, you know, like, obviously preparing that Arsenal could finally be champions after an 18-year hiatus. And what do you know, they probably were right now in this season, just gone in that similar position. But yeah, it wasn't 18 years, it was 22 years they went since the last won the league. But then again, who am I kidding, guys? I'm an Evertonian and we haven't won the league since 1987, so there we go. Very sentimental driven, you know, it's very kind of this guy, Paul, just looking back at, you know, when he's started supporting Arsenal and his dad took him to Highbury. I'm so sorry to Roy, by the way. Don't worry, Roy. We're going to get on to the next film shortly. But yeah, nah, it's a very good film. I really like this one. Colin Firth, I will say, does play a little bit of a very hot-headed character, and you could say he's not all that well liked by a few people in this film, but there is a charm to him, and I do really like Colin Firth as an actor anyway. So yeah, Fever Pitch, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10 there. Then I had a rewatch of Shallow Grave, Danny Boyle's debut film. I think I went back and rewatched this when I got back home from my time in Bristol. I watched this on Bank Holiday Monday, and oh, this film is great, guys. This is honestly one of the best British films I think I've ever watched, in my opinion. Yeah, just done on a shoestring budget. Danny Boyle, the budget he had to work with, and it was just great what he achieved as his first ever film. Just so many great characters and layers, you know, very nitty gritty, grimy aspects to this one. I love those aspects with the whole red colour grading. You know, Christopher Eccleston is just I spying through that attic as well, and you've got a bit of a backstory with this guy who is basically interested in moving into this apartment. It is just so cool, this film. Really great stuff. Love the chemistry between Alex, played by Ewan McGregor, and the lady played by Kerry Fox. And yeah, it's just really well narrated by Christopher Eccleston. And yeah, love the scene when they're at that ballroom, and there's a little bit of an uproar between Ewan McGregor and that guy Colin, who he's just got a big grin on his face, and you see how he reacts. It is just really funny. But yeah, fantastic film. Shallow Grave, I'm gonna give an 8.5 out of 10 there. Little Big Man, obviously I'll be quite quick on this one because I did talk more about it in the unwatched shelf. But yeah, this was decent, actually. A good western, you know, following the story of Jack Crab, I think it is. And yeah, this older guy who's about 121, looking back on his life and like his upbringing and how he meets people along the way. And yeah, when he's acquainted with the Colonel Custer in this film, Battleman, you follow about his relationships in this film as well, and his reunion with this tribe. Really interesting film. I must admit there was some scenes here and there that got a little bit on the talkative side, but overall, decent film. I don't think I would upgrade this one to Blu-ray. If I'm being honest, I think the DVD does the job for me with this film. But yeah, and I am up for checking out more of this director's work, though. I think he directed Bonnie and Clyde prior to this. So yeah, that's the film Little Big Man. I'm going to give that one a 7 out of 10. Steven Soderbergh's latest film, The Christophers. Yeah, I thought this one was quite good, but a bit of a step down for me from his film last year, Black Bag. I think the plot to this one just wasn't very interesting, but there was enough there to carry its way, I suppose. Ian McKellen and the main actress were easily like the best part of this film. They're kind of what kept this film on the move, to be honest. And, you know, you just follow Ian McKellen, who's this grumpy old man in this film, and he's just, yeah, kind of stuck in his old ways. He's very hesitant to finishing these paintings, you know, from when he had a relationship with this man, and when he was, you know, like doing this series of paintings called The Christophers, and it's kind of, he's yet to like complete these paintings, but he's kind of no, I think I might want to get rid of these like paintings. But this artist herself, she's wanting to kind of make these paintings well known, like kind of after when this main guy, when he passes away, that they plan on selling these paintings part of this museum. And I think she's in an agreement with like this guy played by Ian McKellen, like his son and like daughter in this film. But yeah, decent film, guys. Probably one I don't think I will come back to an awful lot, if I'm being honest. And I think if I was to visit this film again, probably if it was like even on a cheap DVD down the road, I think that would probably just be good enough, to be honest. And that was a decent watch, that one. The Christophers, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10 there. The acting was really good to that one, I will say. The main two leads were excellent, I will say, with that one. Then I went back to my parents, and I think, to be honest, guys, the remainder of this video is going to be all indie dramas all the way here. But, yeah. So I did had a rewatch after a number of years. I don't know how it's taken me this long to go back and rewatch this film. But yeah, I did decide to rewatch the film Elizabethtown from Cameron Crowe and with Orlando Bloom and Kirsten Dunst. And I tell you what, guys, I think this film is very underrated. I just don't think this film gets talked about enough. But yeah, very solid indie drama, this one. Yeah, like Orlando Bloom, who gets laid off from work after there's a real crisis with this shoe company that I think is like kind of about to go bust. And he gets laid off. He's thinking about kind of taking some drastic actions, but then he gets a phone call from his sister and she informs him that their father has passed away. So the main character, Orlando Bloom, goes back to his hometown, Elizabethtown, to like visit his family and loved ones, like upon his father's like funeral. Then he falls in love with Kirsten Dunst, who travel hostess, and yeah, they start to have a bond. And yeah, it's I think I would have liked to seen more and more of that, to be honest, in the film. Whereas I think there were just times where he's with his friend, he's with the families, then he's back with Kirsten Dunst, and it's kind of that running theme. Whereas I think I would have just rathered we just focus mainly on Kirsten Dunst and Orlando Bloom, because I think that was the bread and butter of this film. But very solid film all the same. I don't think it needed to be the runtime it was, clocking in at near 2 hours, but overall good film. And yeah, I thought it was very well narrated by Orlando Bloom. I loved that scene where there's like the fireworks, and I think it's on the 4th of July. And yeah, that phone call scene where he's interacting with Kirsten Dunst, that's a sweet part of the film as well. So Elizabethtown, very solid film. If this one ever got a Blu-ray release, actually, I would get this one on Blu-ray, to be fair. So Elizabethtown, I'm going to give a 6.5 out of 10 now. Then I had another rewatch of a film called Regretting You that came out last year. Rather average, but I think there's a charm to this one. I think I've got a bit of a soft spot for this film, in all honesty. I think it's a bit of a guilty pleasure. I do quite have a soft spot for this film, for the film from Josh Boone, who directed The Fault in Our Stars and Stuck in Love. Decent drama. There are, I must admit, is it Alison Williams, I think, as the main mother? I find her a little bit nagging at times. She's very in-your-face kind of character. I didn't really care about the relationship, what was going on between her and Dave Franco, and I don't think those characters were the right match in this film, in my opinion. But I thought when we were following the main young girl Claire and Miller, that main guy, I felt that was a decent side to this film. But yeah, do love the love letter to like movies, like mainly Paramount Pictures, coincidentally, in this film. But that setting with the cinema was decent as well. And yeah, decent indie drama, this one. And yeah, I will say the film did end on a pretty on a good high there. So regretting you, I'm going to give a 6.5 out of 10 there. Then I had a first time watch of the film We Live in Time. Yeah, this is a bit late to the party with this film, admittedly. Really good, like British indie drama, romantic drama, following this couple, and you focus on like it's kind of sort of in that non-linear order where you focus on when they first met, and then you focus on Florence Pugh, and she's this main chef. She's found out some saddening, life-changing news there that's going to really impact her life, but also her family as well. And it's just a beautiful film, this one. Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh absolutely steal the show in this film. And you're really rooting for Florence Pugh to really kind of go and follow her dream as this main chef in this competition as well. Bittersweet. One scene by the petrol station as well, where it's a very impactful part of the film. Thought it was a very moving, impactful, bittersweet ending, but a really good film with some incredible acting, and just really interesting how it's done in this non-linear style as well. So the film We Live in Time, I'm going to give a 7.5 out of 10 there, and I definitely would return to this one in the future. And actually as well, I've got to thank my good buddy Ash at Popcorn and Horror for recommending me this one. And yeah, good recommendation, this one, Ash, because I did really like this one. Beginners from Mike Mills. Yeah, this is the second Mike Mills film I've watched this month, because I watched the film 20th Century Women earlier in the month, and yeah, this was pretty good actually. I did quite like this one. Good film. Ewan McGregor, and you follow like his relationship with that lady. I think she's French in this film, and yeah, they've got a really good thing going on here. But you're following Christopher Plummer, like his father in the film, that's terminally ill, and you kind of focus on about him, and also kind of learning about like his previous relationship from way back when, and about his marriage, and the main son, played by Ewan McGregor's, learning like something about his father that he never knew before. And it's really, very solid film. Quite enjoyed again, it was very interesting style of filmmaking where Ewan McGregor narrates it, and you focus on like close-up stills to in order to present itself for like the storytelling. And yeah, I quite liked those aspects. Good acting, really like the scenes with the dog there as well, and the dog's like when the dog's talking, there's like the text that comes on screen. Yeah, that was quite interesting. Really enjoyed hanging out with these characters, and the scenes where the main pairing, they I think rollerblading or roller skating in this film, and I think they've been told to kick, they've got to leg it because they've got like their dog Scotty with them. But yeah, they decide to go like roller skating, rollerblading somewhere else anyway. And yeah, this was good fun. And yeah, really enjoyed the reconnection between this main pairing as well, where I think he travels to like New York to see her. Yeah, good film, that one. The film Beginners, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10 there. The Miseducation of Cameron Post, with Chloe Grace Moretz, and I've got to be honest, guys, this was a little bit of a disappointment for me. I didn't really find a lot of the characters very interesting to this one, I will say, but yeah, Chloe Grace Moretz does give a good leading performance, where she does play Cameron Post in the early 90s, and parents have found out that she's in love with this girl, and it's a different time period back there where they they're hesitant towards her being in a relationship with this main girl, transferred to like this centre with like a group of youngsters her age, and yeah, to kind of bring them together. But it's this like kind of this centre is run by this, I've got to say, this lady is an absolute arsehole though, like, who kind of is in charge of like this centre in this film. Yeah, like like this community centre, and she's just this lady who runs it, and she's in charge. Is just a bit horrible, to be honest. But I do really like the friendship between Chloe Grace Moretz and her two other friends. But yeah, like, I think just, again, a lot of what was going on in this film I didn't find the most engaging, I will say. And yeah, I found it a bit slow going. It was kind of moving at a snail's shell's pace, to be honest. But overall, it was decent. It was fine. I would return to it at some point again in the future, because it was only about 80 minutes long. But yeah, it was just a bit disappointing as well. The Mids Education, the Cameron Post, I'm going to give a 6 out of 10 there. Something definitely much better though, and one I have had on the shelf for months on end, so I thought it was finally time I would check this film out at long last. And that is the film Ruby Sparks, which, yeah, was very solid and pretty good, like indie drama, like a romantic drama from the same people that directed Little Miss Sunshine and The Way Back, I believe. And whilst I didn't think Ruby Sparks was as good as those films, I did think it was enjoyable. Yeah, like Paul Dano plays like this author. He's starting to fantasize about this lady like in his dreams, and then he decides to like write this like novel, but little does he know this lady all of a sudden comes to life one day, and wow, he's in shock and awe with kind of the knowing that his dream girl is finally come to life here. He doesn't know how to tell like the book company and the booksellers about all of this, and his brother is in complete shock about this as well. Really good hangout movie as well between the main pairing, Ruby Sparks, and this main author in there, Steve Coogan. I would have liked to see more Steve Coogan in this film. Kind of one comedic scene where he stumbles upon Ruby, and he has a bit of a crush for her. So yeah, and also the scenes with Annette Bening and Antonio Banderas when they kind of go on holiday. I quite liked that side of the film. But yeah, this was a good film, guys, and decent ending as well. Ruby would just be saying the same thing over and over, and I was like, I felt they were kind of just shoving that down our throat sort of thing. I was like, okay, we get it. Why is this becoming a bit repetitive here? But overall, good movie. I would watch this one again in future, and I'm glad I bought the Blu-ray for this one, because it was a very kind of an original idea for a film at the time, and actually I think would kind of make a good double bill with something like Stranger Than Fiction, to be fair. Whilst I do think Stranger Than Fiction is the better movie in my opinion, I still did think Ruby Sparks was a good watch, that one, so I'll give that one a 7 out of 10. I had a rewatch of the film Handsome Devil, LGBT film from I think about 2016, I want to say. And yeah, this is pretty good again. Don't think I enjoyed it as much as I did on first viewing, but I thought this was still pretty good. These two young guys, I think at like this college, this campus, and they kind of, I think one's kind of in like the rugby team, and then I think the other one is like kind of a musician. And yeah, this is a pretty good LGBT drama, this one. I really did enjoy the soundtrack as well, where you have like the House Martins and Trash Can Snatchers featured in this film. I thought Andrew Scott as the English teacher, really good supporting role to this. And when you get the duet between the main pairing in there, and they're doing that, the cover of I think for a Minute by the House Martins, I really enjoyed that. Good kind of appearance from Dougal Maguire from Father Ted. It was great to see him actually crop up in this. You see the two characters meet, I think where they're having like this party, but then he doesn't want his friends knowing that he's in a relationship with this guy, this friend, so he has to kind of pretend this is not a thing, sort of thing. There's a lot of heart to this one. I did really like the ending. Good scenes with kind of like the rugby side of it as well. And I really liked the scene when the two main lads meet in the film as well. I think it was because they're over, like he heard the guy playing Prefab Sprout in the background. Yeah, good film, that one, and would definitely return to this one again in the future. So the film Handsome Devil, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10 there. Then we're going to end the video with a couple of Ben Stiller movies I watched for the first time while we're young from Noah Baumbach, and I've got to be honest, guys, I was a bit disappointed with this one. This is technically the last film I watched in a month, but I just want to end the film on a bit of a high, so I thought I'd talk about this one first. But yeah, just very average, middle of the road film, and I've got to be honest, Noah Baumbach as a director, pretty hit and miss for me. I love Francis Ha. Marriage Story's great. Jay Kelly was good. Squid and the Whale, I did really enjoy all of those films, but films like I think Miss America and this one, and then there was another one, Kicking and Screaming, sadly just didn't do all that much for me. And yeah, it fell onto the kind of the spectrum of, it was just very average. I didn't really care of what was going on from the vast majority of this one. I mean, it was super well acted and it was super well made, but I just didn't really connect with the main characters. I thought Ben Stiller, I love Ben Stiller as an actor, but I found his character a bit of a sleazeball in this film. Adam Driver, I found a little bit, kind of a bit big-headed as well. Amanda Seyfried was good in this film, but yeah, like, again, I found it interesting still where we're following, and there's two young filmmakers, Adam Driver and Ben Stiller, but Ben Stiller has had some quite life-changing news, and he kind of wants to still work on this project, but he feels Adam Driver is getting all the credit and all the more recognition, and that kind of rubs him up the wrong way. But yeah, there were times where there was just characters like hurling, and they were just not, like, they were in a bit of a bad state, and they would be like at this like house party, and it sounded like a bit of me, this film, where it's quite conversational driven, but yeah, I think it was just down to the characters, to be honest, if anything. I would give this one another viewing to see if I do end up changing my opinion on this one, but overall, very average. It was a bit boring as well. It was just because a lot of the characters I just didn't find very happy bunnies in this film. That's kind of what took me out of the film a little bit for me. I appreciate it was something different, and it did tackle a couple of serious themes in there. I get that, but as a film, it was just, I will say I did like the scenes with like the record playing and the VHS as well, that had that vintage feel about it. I will say I did enjoy those aspects, but as a film, very forgettable, very average. While we're young, I'm going to give a 5.5 out of 10 now. But I did want to end the video of a Ben Stiller film that I did much prefer to that, and that is a film called Brad's Status, which I think was recommended by Ollie, this film, and yeah, this was a decent indie drama, this one, where you're following like this main father, Brad, a bit of a workaholic. His son is about to apply for like this college, and he's hoping that his son will get into this college, I think in like this music, because his son's a musician, and he's hoping that he's gonna be learning about music as well in like this university, this college, to go and see like the head teacher and that, the principal. But yeah, there's a little bit of a back and forth, ongoing debate there. And Ben Stiller is reacquainted with Michael Sheen, where they've had a bit of a checkered history, and Ben Stiller feels Michael Sheen's always been like outsmart him, and you know, like he's got like this private jet, and he's, you know, like he's kind of done a couple of things that's kind of rubbed him up the wrong way. And he feels he's trying to be all Mr. Popular. So that was an interesting side story. And I did think Jenna Fisher was a decent supporting addition to the story as like Brad's wife in this film. Really kind of liked the scenes by like, I think like this nightclub as well. And I think Ben Stiller has a bit of a interesting debate with this like this lady similar age to like his son in this film. So yeah, it's a decent indie drama, this one. Did enjoy the hangout scenes by the streets and this like this part of America. Good film, that one. Brad status, I'm gonna give a 6.5 out of 10. So guys, that is all the movies I have watched in May 2026. A very solid month for movie watching, with like revisits and cinema trips and first time watches on physical media, and I'm looking forward to seeing what June brings to the table there. And there was some good recommendations this month as well, I will say. So yeah guys, it's been great looking back on the movies I've watched in the back half of May 2026 there. So yeah guys, here's to hoping June is another very solid month for movie watching, and just in general, I hope June is a very good month ahead. I think we've got the World Cup coming this month as well. So yeah, guys, do let me know your thoughts on any of these movies, and what's your thoughts on these films? Do you think some of these movies I'm talking at the back of my head? And Sammy, what are you on about, lad? Yeah, I'll be interested to know all of that good stuff in the comments down below there. And the next video will be the latest episodes of the Unwatched Shelf series. I'm very much looking forward to that. So thanks for watching. Cheers for stopping by. And until next time, I'll see you for the next video. Bye-bye. Take care, guys. Thank you so much.